Today we're going to be making a pork and poblano stew in our slow cooker. Got about 2.5 pounds of center cut boneless pork chops, 2 medium sweet potatoes that we're going to peel and dice, 4 large poblanos, a small bag of jalapenos and onions, some garlic, cilantro, chicken stock, and then some ancho chilies and guajillo chilies that we're going to float on top. First things first though, we're going to go ahead and take our poblanos and jalapenos and we're going to core them and seed them and chop them up for some roasting in the oven. Alright. So here we have our peppers. They've been seeded and cored and chopped in half. And the oven is currently preheating to a broil. We're going to broil these for about 15 minutes. And when we take them out, we're going to pop them into a Ziploc bag or a paper bag, whatever you have that you can kind of fold over and seal and let them steam for about another 15 minutes before we chop them into small pieces after removing the skins. In the meantime, we've got a cast iron skillet here. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil. And this is where we're going to be browning the pork that we've chopped into pieces. As we brown the pork, we're going to be seasoning it with some salt and pepper. Alright, as you can see, we're all set up here. I've got my cast iron heating over medium heat with that olive oil. Got the pork back there, salt and pepper to season, and then I've got my crock pot right here. I've gone ahead and sprayed that down with a little bit of nonstick coconut spray. Even though we're making a stew, we'll be adding chicken stock later. I still spray it just in case. I'm weird, I know. Alright, so I'm going to start in small batches, browning the pork, and as the pork cooks, I'll season it, and then when it's done, I'm going to transfer it into the bowl of the slow cooker. And as I'm doing this, when the peppers come out of the oven, I'll be putting them in that bag, like I said, and letting them steam, and then I'll be chopping them, because once we brown the pork, we're going to take our onion, which we've diced, and that garlic, which we've minced, add it to the pan along with the peppers, and cook that for a little bit before tossing it into the bowl of the crock pot as well. Here's a few pieces of pork cooking. You notice that there's not a lot in the pan, and you might say to me, well, what's the point? It's going to take forever. Well, yeah, it will. But the thing is that if you overcrowd the pan, instead of getting a nice sear, what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up steaming your pork, and that's what makes it rubbery and tough and chewy. So instead, we're going to space it out. It takes a little bit longer, but it's going to be a better end product. Finishing up my last batch of pork. Over here, I've got a lot in the slow cooker, so I'm going to add in my sweet potatoes that I've cubed up. Looking great. Coming back over here. Look at that sear we're getting on there. Amazing. Alright. Get these all turned so we can make sure we sear it on all sides. Get that beautiful color. This guy right here, that's our fond. We're going to scrape that up when we start cooking the onions and the garlic. We'll add a little chicken stock to deglaze. It's going to be amazing. In the meantime now, we're going to come back over to the slow cooker. And I'm going to dump in some oregano. That looks, let's just finish off that bottle. Some oregano, and then I think we'll do some cumin. A lot of people only put cumin with beef, but fun fact, it also goes really well with pork, especially if you're doing a dish with Latin flavors like we're doing here. Back to our pork, it's just about done. As soon as we transfer this over into the slow cooker, we're going to add our onions and garlic to the pan, and we're going to add our chopped peppers, and then we're going to deglaze with a little bit of chicken stock. So this is what that looks like. The onions, garlic, and our roasted poblanos and jalapenos that have been roughly chopped. They're in here with a little bit of chicken stock that just went ahead, and look at the bottom of that pan. We've just gotten all that beautiful fond off of there. It's in here flavoring our vegetables, which in just a moment we're going to put into the crock pot along with the rest of this guy. This maybe had 2.5 cups of chicken stock in it, and then we're going to add the rest to the slow cooker along with another 4 cups of chicken broth. Once that's done, we'll put it in the base, and then we're going to float some chilies on top. So here we have everything now in the crock pot. I'm going to take my other 4 cups of chicken broth, and I'm just going to pour that in. Amazing. Alright, now I'm going to grab my spoon. I'm going to kind of stir this up, get everything mixed in. Oh man, cannot wait. We're going to cook this. Oh, little piece of skin. I left the skin on the peppers just because Michael reminded me that he likes the blackened skin. So it adds a little bit of crunch to your stew, but feel free to remove those. Alright, now that I have that all nice and mixed up, I'm going to grab some ancho chiles. These are dried, and I'm going to float a couple on top. What that's going to do is as the soup cooks, I'll do 3, it's going to rehydrate those, and you're going to get some of the heat of those chilies and a lot of the flavor. It's amazing. I'm also going to float in 3 guajillos. Get them in there so we can get that nice chili flavor. Alright, this is going to cook on low for 8 hours, and then we're going to stir in some cilantro. 8 hours later, here's our final product, and I'm just going to be stirring in some chopped cilantro. Smells amazing and tastes just as good. Enjoy!